Hey folks, Jonathan here. I think it's about time to get started on the frame. And let me see, we got the rear end up here. I took the leaf springs off, took the wheels off, did a little bit more research on the rear end. Let me wait for this airplane to get by. And I'll turn the camera back on here. Port brag, you gotta deal with that all the time. Okay, let me explain to everybody what we've got for a rear end here. This sun is just terrible. I don't know whether to be in the sun or out of the sun or what, so you can see best. But anyway, okay. So what we got, they used this rear end from 1975 to 1978 only. This was the rear end they used after they quit making the 8-inch, but before they started making the 8.8. This was sort of the transition rear end. They only used this in two vehicles. They used it in a Granada and a Mercury Monarch. And this is called an 8.7, but it's actually 8.75 is what the ring gear diameter is. So it's 28 spline, and this could have came in 3 different gear ratios. And of course this was the V8 car, so it had the highest gear. It's a 275 gear. So does that bother me? No, not a bit. Not going to worry about it. A little light car, a lot of torque on the engine, a low first gear in that T5. It'll probably work out really well, and we should be able to do 130, 140, maybe. We might see that. But anyway, I don't know what Nana, every time I turn the camera on, I don't know what it is about her. But anyway, so that's what we've got. And this you can get a 307 or a 325 gear, but I mean, I don't think it would be even worth trying to hunt the gears down to change them out and in that rear end. And I don't think you can put a posi unit in it. I don't know that they even made one, but I think the outboard brake parts are the same as the 8-inch, you know, that was made before this, so the brakes are no issue. And so anyway, all right, I got a set of wheels. Now, one thing about it, you know, there's not much backlash in this rear, so I mean, I'm sure that this car didn't have very many miles at all on it. I bought 4 or 5 cars from the same place, and they was all owned by a sort of well-to-do couple that they had passed away, but they would buy a car and they'd drive it a little while and then they'd park it. And some of you may have remembered me getting them out of there. It was the Granada. There was a 65 Chevelle, no, I'm sorry. Well, it was a Chevelle, I think, or Impala. There was a 70 Impala, the Newport 61, 65. What else was there? 57 Chevrolet pickup. And I think that might have been it. But anyway, the Granada, none of them had that many miles on them. They would buy them and drive them a little while, and I mean, they didn't really go anywhere anyway, and then they'd park it and buy another one. So everything they bought was, you know, bought new. They didn't buy used cars, and a lot of local people knew them for years and years and years. But they just never traded in a car and never sold a car. They just kept the car and bought another one. So that's what this one was. I've got a set of wheels we're going to run. Some people will like them, some people won't. I actually ordered the lug nuts for them and ordered some center caps for them. I bought these rims at an auction. These are turbine wheels, old school. Don't know who made them, probably maybe American Racing or Western. I think Western was a company that made a lot of them. But my point is, I got them, and I bought them really cheap. I think I gave $10 a piece for them, and it might not even have been that much, but I was bidding against the scrap man. There was a scrap guy there, and he was bidding away, buying rims, and all 4 of them were together in good shape. They're unilug, and I just couldn't see letting him take these rims. So what I'll probably do is sandblast the rim, paint them, and then sand back off everything except for the lower areas in here, and they actually would look good that way. Maybe do it in like a red or yellow or something. You know, the deal with the Ralph Mouth car, Happy Days car, my point of telling people that is so they get an understanding of how the body is, you know, the body style of it and the way the bed's made and everything. This is not going to be a copy of that car. It won't be the same color. Of course, it's going to have a big straight 8 anyway. And Ralph's car had a flathead V8 with some fake Chevrolet headers bolted on the side, but turned upside down too. So anyway, so this is, like I said, this is the rear we're using. I know, you know, I have no doubts whatsoever it's a good rear end. It's just, it's not a desirable rear. A lot of people probably wouldn't even use it, but I've got it, and that's how we're doing this whole build, is using what we've got. I think I've got some steel coming, so we can get started on the frame here. I think I'm going to get around there and go ahead and try to get the front end out of the Plymouth, and that way we'll have the front and rear, and we'll be good to go with that. And I'm going to come up with a spring probably today before it's over with. I've got a Willys Jeep truck rear spring I may use as a single front spring. I don't know. We're going to see how it works out, but one way or the other we're going to get a spring under it. I've got a lot of springs. I don't have any that's got any other ones besides that Willys Jeep that's got the eyes on the ends. I don't know why I've got a load of springs with no eyes. So I have no clue, but anyway, they're 2-inch wide, so we can stack some springs up or something if we have to. We'll figure something out, but we'll go ahead and start trying to get some stuff together on it. We can get that together and start getting the front end to where it's mounted decent. We can, you know, also got to get a length on this thing. And luckily, since I've got the Roadster, and the Roadster's on, you know, this style of a cross member and front section of the frame, everything else from like right there back's all, you know, fabricated, but that'll give me an idea lengthwise where the fan ends on it, because we're running the same style radiator and the same style grill. So we'll go ahead and get a length and see how much we're going to have to add in this thing. So, all right, let me get at it. Okay, after doing some measuring, I've come up with 120.5 wheelbase, and that means, I don't know what the stock wheelbase is, but from what I'm figuring, I'm going to add about 17 inches, I think, of length. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to start up here, going back and build the back section. Box this in really well, weld the cross member into the frame, do everything we need to do there to make that, well, we won't have any issues with it, you know. And we'll actually do just like the other one, box in the horns on the front also. So, all right, let me get to doing a little more work. Okay, I'm trying to get the front end out. Lord, this thing is rusted everywhere. Frame is rusted, falling apart. Yeah, this one definitely wasn't one to put back together. Alright, so Scott pulled this out while I sat and watched him. And because of this social distancing thing, I told him I couldn't get within 6 foot of him, so he had to do it all by himself. It's out. So, fixing to load it up. Show you the frame on this side. Here's the frame on this side. That's terrible. Alright, okay, so we just got everything sitting up under here and pulled the spring out, one of the springs out of the front of the Plymouth, but it's too long. Gonna have to go find a spring, probably a trailer spring or something. But anyway, it's coming together. Okay folks, I learned real quick that the pin on a 36 Plymouth front spring is not in the center. We got like 20 inches here and 17 inches here. So that spring's not gonna work. But we're gonna find a spring that will. But for now, we got the rear end just sit up under there. Got all these wheels on it. Kind of like my old school turbines. So we got caps and lug nuts coming, and I'll put studs in these front ones. So anyway, there it is, and it's not really a roller, but we'll call it a roller anyway. It's a fall aparter. But the I'm going to cover a seat, a little motorcycle seat for my son. I'll show you how bad I can screw it up. All right. Okay, folks. Here's what we're working on. This is for a motorcycle my son's working on, playing with, and I cut the piece out. There's a big chunk missing here, but I cut it out, and I'm trying to fit in a piece. We'll get it in there, and then we'll glue it in just to replace it, and then we'll figure out a cover for it. All right. Okay, here's the seat, just a quickie. This is for a 73, I think, model CT70 or not CT, ST70. Something like that. Anyway, all right. Appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye. Sit down awful low. Make engine noises. What about burnouts? Can you do a burnout?
I can't make any smoke, man.
No smoke.
I don't think that's right.
All right.